Hello everyone, in this video I'll be discussing these four gentlemen: Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels, Joe Rogan, and Jordan Peterson. And I'll be discussing them because I think we have an epidemic of bad male role models rising up. And I have a son that's going to grow up in this world, and I don't want to see it dominated by people like these because I don't think they're very genuine, and some of them not very good. And I want to make sure to be clear that I'm not looking to be the next role model or somebody that people idolize and listen to for life advice. I don't have any advice for you except don't listen to people who are not genuine. That's the only advice I'll give you. Okay, I'm going to begin with Andrew Tate because he is somebody who a lot of young men are starting to idolize, take advice from, and look up to. So I think it's a bad move for the next generation coming up to idolize this kind of character. And basically what he does is he's a womanizer who treats women as a commodity or as a tool to get himself. Basically, he's a pimp. And he discusses it here.
You cannot get a girl to work for you having. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it, and it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You f*** the girl. After the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you know, you're always busy. You're always at work. You can come work for me. So, as I said, you cannot try and approach girls to do webcam. Hi, do you want to do webcam? It's bullshit. It doesn't work. No one's going to say yes. And any girl who does say yes is doing it. She doesn't like you. She doesn't know you. She doesn't love you. She's saying yes purely for money. I'm going to sneeze. And any girl who wants money that bad is going to skank you and leave you when she realizes you get a big cut of it. So even if you do get a girl to say yes that way, even if you do say to a girl, look, let's make some money.
Women are commodity to him.
She's not in it to please you. And she's only
he
in it
has
for the
no
money.
respect
She's
for women.
Get pissed off with her cut. Because they're going to Google up how much a token's worth, how many tokens they made, and all that shit. They're going to get pissed off with their cut.
But these women have no respect for themselves either if they do that with him.
So you don't want a girl who's in it for money.
It's not all his fault.
To be with you.
It's their fault
so you
too.
meet a girl, you take her on dates, she passes the PhD test, then you start saying things like, oh yeah, but you're always working, I have to do some traveling and you can't come, I want to bring you with me. Traveling is a great one because the thing about this business is mobile. If you can find a good Airbnb with good internet, you can run it somewhere else. So it's a good little caveat to throw in. Oh, and you're always working, why don't you work for me so we spend more time together? Work for you doing what? So I'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen, come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. You're bottom, the new girl, you go out for a nice dinner, your bottom is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl. My first girl was so good, it was easy. My girl would sit there and go, oh my God, before this I was a waitress, and now I do this, I make so much money, and the guys all love me and they adore me, and on my birthday they send me presents, and I get so much money, blah, blah,
sick
blah,
of hearing
so
this guy
fun,
talk.
and we stay at home, and da-da-da-da, and we're going to go to Thailand soon, or we'll be working in Thailand,
You've heard
we'll
enough.
stay there for as long as you want, you should come with
You
us.
understand what he's all about there.
Martinis,
And how he views
bang,
women, he
threesome.
treats women.
Slam them both.
But like I said, he's not doing it alone. These women are also to blame for these situations that they're in with him and allowing him to pimp them and use them as a commodity. Now the next gentleman I want to discuss is Kevin Samuels, and I was a little bit hesitant to put him in this list because he's passed away recently, God rest his soul, and it's, I'm kind of hesitant to talk about people who have recently passed away, but I think his content is very much alive and it's growing more now than ever. And I think I like some of the things he says, but I disagree with some of the things he says. And he portrays himself as a heterosexual lady killer type, and it's not been conclusively proven, but he's even come out in defense of it. So it's not like he didn't defend himself on this topic that I'm going to bring up. And there's nothing wrong with being gay. You could have come out as gay and you get actually bonus points in society. You get social bonus points from coming out as gay in today's world, in the Western world anyway. He had no reason to hide it. Don't sell yourself as being a smooth operating ladies man. And I also think it's bad to get advice from him because he had no family unit that he built. And he's giving marriage and relationship advice to people who are heterosexuals. I don't think he even understands that realm. Now what I'm about to show you is him doing his live stream. He has cameras set up in his house that he uses, I guess, OBS or something to switch between. And I think what happens is he accidentally switched to his bed, the camera that was by his bed. And you can tell it's his decor, it's his color walls, he likes that black and white kind of decor. And it's like a furry sheet and there's a dude sleeping in his bed. And everybody's calling him out on it. And I think it was DJ Vlad who interviewed him about the situation. And he tried to say that it was one of his callers' beds, but you can tell by the software and the way it's running that it's not one of his callers. So let's take a look.
Remember them kids. See, boys like that used to put them in, we put them in the special ed class when we were coming up. We can't use the words we used to use. But anyway, what do you got for me? Black women, what are you willing to do to save our community?
I've been thinking about this, but I think that we need to have more patience when it comes to dealing with our men, or just in general.
Uh-huh.
And I think that with having more patience, then hopefully that will lead to better results down the road, even and allow us to do better in challenging times.
Mm-hmm. What the heck just happened here? Somebody's sleeping in the bed. Woo.
That's your bed, homie.
Oh. Yeah, glitch in the system.
Now, you can tell it's his feed, because his watermark is right there. You can tell it's one of his cameras. And it's not, when he is interviewing other people, you can tell that theirs is a different picture in picture. And look at his decor. You can tell this is this man's decor. Furry sheets. And this guy, he did this guy so good. This guy's comatose. Skipping down the Peppermint Lane in Candyland. He's out of it, man. Now, even if he's not a gay man, he wears skinny jeans, tight clothing, purses, always smelling fruity. Like, he's just, you can tell he's not heterosexual, which, like I said, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but don't try to pass yourself off as a relationship advisors for heterosexuals, and then you try to say that you are very successful in sleeping with women a lot and whatnot. And that's what he was trying to, he's pretty much just being fake. And I think that is a poor role model for young men. Now in this next segment I want to talk about Joe Rogan. And I don't hate any of these men, I just think they're poor role models for young men today and young men of the future. And it seems like our social sphere is dominated by a bunch of men who are not genuine. They're kind of fakes. They switch their stances. Like, that's what Joe Rogan does, is he switches his stances according to who he's interviewing. So he's just everybody's best friend. But then when you're not there, he'll talk crap about you, or some kind of topic he'll disagree with you on. But then when you're there being interviewed by him, he switches his stances and flips, which I think is disingenuous and kind of cowardly. And he passes himself off as being some chest-beating alpha male, when you can't be a chest-beating alpha male if you're insecure about your height, first of all. If you're insecure about your bald head. I shave my head, but I have a full head of hair. And if I did go bald, or my hair starts thinning, I'm not going to be so insecure about it where I'm going to wear a wig or get hair plugs. And that just shows how so very insecure you are. And another thing he's insecure about is his height. I'm pretty sure he wears lifts in the inside of his shoes to give him a couple of more inches of height. He's probably 5'4" or 5'5". And if I was that short, maybe I would do that too. I don't know. But I'm pretty short. I'm 5'7". And in American standards, that's pretty short. But I don't wear lifts. I'm not tippy-toeing everywhere. I've seen photos where Joe Rogan is tippy-toeing just to get a little bit more height along with the person he's taking a video or a photo with. That's pretty lame. And then he has this stance flipping issue that he has. So let me show you. He's fake. He's fake and insecure.
Found distasteful, even though I'm a giant Tarantino fan. His portrayal of Bruce Lee is just very controversial. I didn't like it. They made him look like a buffoon. He was my childhood hero as well. My childhood hero.
So he says all that, then he gets to talk to Tarantino.
Yeah, a lot of people felt like you made Bruce Lee into...
Figured you were going to bring it up especially, because I heard you guys back and forth on it.
I did not like the Bruce Lee.
Hold on. You hear what he said? He said, there's a lot of people who think you made Bruce Lee look like an... No, Joe, it was you. You're the one who got butthurt about Quentin Tarantino's portrayal of Bruce Lee. You talked about it so much, and then when you have Quentin Tarantino right in front of you, what do you say? Oh, there's some people who don't like how you portray it.
I can understand his daughter having a problem with it. It's her father, all right? I get that. But anybody else, go suck.
One of my personal heroes. He's kind of doubled down on the criticism of that, but I don't think he was a Bruce Lee fan.
I'm actually a big Bruce Lee fan.
Do you know about the history of Bruce Lee and
Gene LaBelle? Yeah, of course.
Did you read?
Now here we have a video of Joe Rogan talking crap about pro wrestling being fake and those guys can't really fight and all this stuff. But then he gets The Undertaker in his interview room and completely just ignores all of that and won't bring any of that up because he's got a giant man sitting in front of him that can squish him like a grape. And if he was to say the truth about what he felt in front of that man about pro wrestling, The Undertaker would have just pinned him up against the wall or put him over his knee and spanked him.
Nothing wrong with being gay. Nothing. And there's nothing wrong with being a fan of pro wrestling. But it's the same thing.
Thanks for coming on here. I really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, it's an honor, really.
Oh, my pleasure. Honor to have you.
There's that stigma that MMA was it kind of, is it like wrestling? You know, and everybody's like, no, it's not like wrestling.
It's not the goddamn same. One of them is real. One of them is people that are battling for their life in the most difficult contest in all of sports.
MMA people are a little more sensitive about it.
Another one is some weird jerk-off thing that strange guys do when they sit in front of the TV and pretend they don't know it's fake.
They get all up in arms. Why you get that fake wrestler on there? Dude, don't.
Yeah, you can't worry about those people.
No, I don't worry about them.
There's people that love.
You are
real
those
fighting
people,
that
dude.
have a real hard time with these fake WWE style scenarios.
You're fake.
Like that bleeding into MMA. I think it's dumb.
There's millions and millions of WWE.
Yeah, and I'm
fans.
telling you why
That's
maybe
enough.
Hunter S. Thompson was just a couple of decades off when he was predicting the end of the world.
Yeah.
How?
No, one more little thing about this. If you go and look at when he's interviewing his guests and they have this side view, he's got his chair almost a foot higher than his guests, and I imagine that he sets the chairs that way before they come, so he appears bigger. You have all these images where the guest is way down low in the chair, and then Joe Rogan's chair is jacked way up all high, so he looks taller than them in the videos. He's so insecure. You poor man. I don't know what that has to feel like. Now, the next gentleman I want to discuss is Jordan Peterson. Poor Jordan. And let me say right off the bat that I enjoy this man's message mostly. I agree with most of what he says. I disagree with some of it. But what I want to show is that he's an actor. He's, for instance, if you talk about something that brings up emotion in you, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with crying, but he goes overboard and he's acting. He's being fake about it to get an emotional response from the viewer. And so, of course, if you cry in your video, you're going to get an emotional response out of people because you feel you're upset. And now the whole thing with the crying is that it makes me laugh so hard every time he does it, because if you take a topic that you've spoken about 3,000 times in public, are you going to cry the 3,000th time that you talk about it? That's why I think it's all of his crying is fake. Because everything he's crying about, he's talked about in public thousands of times. And I guarantee you, every time he's not on video talking about it, or in earlier videos of him talking about it, he's not crying like a baby. And it's... I don't want to say the wrong things here because I don't want to rub people wrong. I know how sensitive some of you are. But, man, this is a piss poor male role model and relationship advisor.
If you're in pain, every budding beauty, so ashamed of her breasts that she lets a Machiavellian psychopath cut them off. You have no idea how many people that's killing.
No tears.
You have no idea.
He's good at making tears.
Everywhere, all over the world.
Sometimes.
So demoralized.
He should be a Hollywood actor.
Especially young people. Especially young people with a conscience.
He's
because they've been
fake.
told since they were little that there's nothing to them but corruption and power. It's like, how the hell do you expect them to react?
I don't know, Jordan. I don't know.
Well, I shouldn't do anything, man, you know.
This guy really means what he's saying.
The most fundamental reality is pain.
Really means it.
Yes. Is there anything more fundamental than pain? Love.
Love. Oh.
Really?
Men don't talk like that.
Pain.
Actors talk like that.
Love and truth. That's what you got.
Women talk
And, you
like
know,
that.
If they're more
And I'm not
powerful
saying there's
than
anything
pain,
wrong with that, but women are supposed to
maybe
be
they're the most
emotional.
real thing.
Men are supposed to be logical, practical,
even in the revelation
strong.
of their triumph, the initial depth of their despair.
I'm not talking about physically strong. I'm talking about mental strength. You're not
So
supposed
I wouldn't change that.
you're not supposed to cry every
But it's
time you
not
talk
nothing.
about something.
It's certainly not just happiness.
And the stuff he's
better than
talking about is not
happiness.
even that
It's
cry-worthy.
almost unbearable.
It's just everyday crap.
Well, I
Everyday
think it's,
human
I think-
condition crap.
You really want to know what I think? I think it's revenge against God for the crime of being. That's really what I think. It's Cain and Cain and Abel. It's like, oh, Abel's your guy, eh, God? How about if I take him out in the field and beat him to death? How do you feel about that? All my sacrifices went unrewarded.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let the tears go. Bring them.
Yeah, that's what it is at the bottom of the hell of things.
Bring it on, Jordan. Oh, there it is.
And I have my tendency to feel a hell of a lot more sorry for a set of confused, isolated, and lonely pubescent girls who have no one to love them enough to help them appreciate who they are.
Oh, God.
Than I do for one overprivileged and unfortunately confused narcissistic Hollywood star.
Now, as I end this video, I want to make it clear, I don't hate any of these 4 men. And when I talk about something being bad for our society as a whole, I don't hate that thing. I don't hate anything under the great spirits or the supreme beings or God's creation. And even if you're atheist, under the natural universe's creation, I don't hate any of it. I don't even hate the devil. If the devil, wouldn't the devil just be one of God's children? One of God's agents, part of his master plan? So I don't hate the devil. I don't hate any of the devil's children. But I'm sure as hell going to fight the good fight and say what needs to be said. I'm not just going to sit there quiet because I love everything. Our role is to be what we were programmed to be. And when you sit there and you sit there quiet and you bite your tongue, you're not being what you were made to be. You're suppressing yourself. You're oppressing yourself. And a lot of us do this because we feel like it's not going to be popular or it's not going to be accepted well in society. Why do you even care about that? Say the truth that is within you. And everybody's truth is different. That's why I made 3 videos or 4 videos in my new playlist, the Social Studies and History playlist. And not one person is able to refute any of the evidence that I brought forth. But yet everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people have emotional responses to the truth, the evidence that I brought in those videos. So these gentlemen, I have nothing wrong with, no hard feelings about them. I just think I have a son growing up in this world and a daughter now. So I don't want them to be influenced by a pimp, a faker who gives poor advice. And all these men are focused on money only. Their main priority in life is amassing greater wealth than their neighbor. They have to have a nicer car than their neighbor. They have to have a nicer suit than their neighbor. They have to have a better looking woman, or in this guy's case, man, than their neighbor. And God rest his soul. I don't like talking about people who have passed away, but he has a message that is not passed away. And it's gaining ground. And a lot of it is poor advice. So, as I wrap up, let me just say that some people might try to say that, oh, Adam's trying to be a male influencer now. Adam's trying to give life coaching and advice. Nope. I don't want anybody to be like me. I don't want anybody to listen to my advice. I like teaching people. That's what I do on YouTube, and I've been doing it since 2008. So don't get it twisted. I don't want to be idolized, and I don't want to be looked at as the new male role model guy. That's not the goal here. I just want to expose these individuals for being a little bit fake, a little bit disingenuous. This one, Joe Rogan, massively insecure about himself. He's the most insecure man in this list. And Andrew Tate, he's just a horrible person. And he treats women like commodities and business tools. And they're doing it themselves too. But so it's a union between the two of them. But basically he's just a pimp. The next generation, make sure they don't fall victim to a bunch of schemers, liars, and fake people. People who are not genuine. That's all I'm saying. And I have no hate in my heart for any of them. And I hope your day's going well. And I'll speak to you next time.